everyone. Welcome back to my channel. If you are a current subscriber, thank you so much for continuing to watch my videos. I really appreciate it. And if you're new and you so happen to have stumbled across my channel, my name is Sasha. I do fragrance reviews. I do a little bit of beauty, a little bit of style. So if you enjoy that type of content, I hope you'll take a minute to subscribe. And of course, hit that notification bell. You don't have to, but then you know each time that I upload. In today's video, I am super excited because Zara released another fragrance line. So they've been releasing a lot of fragrances lately. And so I'm super excited to present to you today Vibrant Cities. And they collaborated with Jo Malone to create 8 scents that I'm going to share with you. Now I went ahead and I ordered their discovery set because they didn't have it in the stores yet. So I ordered mine online and this is what it looks like. This set was $25.90 and you get all 8 of their fragrances. So when you open it, you can see the little sample bottles there. So what I don't like are these bottles are not the spray kind of bottles. They're just the kind that you have to dab on your wrist so you can't really spray it, which is kind of a bummer. And so they look like this. And then they have a little lid there. So you gotta be careful when you pull that off. Sometimes if you pull it too hard, some of the fragrance comes flying out. So anyway, but really nice set. They also have a larger set, which I almost bought. And that one is really cool. This is all 8 of the fragrances from the Vibrant City line. And they are each 40 ml. There's 8 of them. And this was $169. And then they also sell the bottles individually. So if you just wanted to buy a 40 ml bottle, it's $19.90. If you wanted to buy the 75 ml bottle from this line, it's $29.90. So really reasonable. And you know what I was just thinking, guys, as I'm sitting here sharing this with you? How cute would this be for a Christmas gift? Hear me out. This little discovery set, and then what if you attached a gift card to Zara on there for maybe $20? And that way when they are trying out the discovery set, they're looking at all the different fragrances in here. If there's one that they really love that they want a bottle of, they've got that little gift card from Zara and they can go and purchase that bottle. You're welcome. I know that's a good idea, isn't it? Anyway, so I'm excited. This is a unisex fragrance line and I think they did that perfectly because these fragrances don't lean too feminine and they certainly don't lean too masculine. They are right down the center. They're very gender neutral. And I have to say, as far as when to wear these fragrances, these are the types of fragrances, because of the note profiles in these are great for year-round signature scents. But these are pretty easygoing. They're likable scents. They're ones that you want to just grab and put on any day of the week. So this collection takes its inspiration from our return to the pioneering spirit of travel and the discovery of the vibrancy of life again. And that is quote unquote from Jo Malone. And what I like is each one of these little fragrances has its own little quote, and I'll kind of go through that with you. Now I have been working with these fragrances for a few weeks, testing them out on my skin to check the longevity. And I went one step further. I actually, as you can see the name right there, I took these little paper perfume strips and I put the fragrances on these strips and let them literally marinate for over 48 hours. And some of these fragrances smell like I just put them on these strips. So at the very end, I'll let you know which is the best ones, which lasted longer on the paper. I would have sprayed it on clothes and tested it that way. But because these little samples don't have the sprayer, I couldn't do that. But imagine this as probably the same type of longevity that it would have on a piece of clothing. But let's talk about the first fragrance. This one is called Energetically New York. These are all eau de parfums, by the way. And the quote for this one is, "Ignited imaginations will change the world." Now, I don't know if this is intentional or by accident, but this fragrance definitely smells like a very well-known fragrance, and that fragrance is Santal 33 by Le Labo. I'm going to assume that it's on accident and that they didn't purposely try and make a dupe for Santal 33, but you don't know. It smells very similar to that, although Santal 33 is definitely a much stronger scent, but this is very, very close. This could honestly pass as a dupe. But let's talk about the notes in this fragrance. There's cardamom, jasmine, and sandalwood. You're really going to get that cardamom for sure. If you like cardamom, you're going to absolutely adore this fragrance. You get little bits of that jasmine. It's soft, it's not overpowering. And then of course there's that sandalwood in there that definitely gives it that woody nuance, makes it more earthy. Very nice fragrance. Let's talk longevity. This on my skin was 4 to 6 hours, which is pretty good. I have the drier skin, so sometimes fragrances don't last as long on me as I wish they would, and you never know how it's gonna last on you. Everybody's chemistry is so different. It has a beautiful sillage. It's definitely one of those fragrances. It's gonna turn those heads. People are gonna mistake this, I think, for sure for Santal 33. But anyway, it's great. I really like this one. They did a really nice job. All right, the next fragrance. This one is Stunningly Venice, and the quote for this is, "Doorways of light tell stories of love." And the notes in this one are bergamot, red fruits, and myrrh. And you're definitely going to get a bit of those red fruits. They are not overly sweet. There's a little tartness there. There's also that bergamot, which is citrusy. So there's just a hint of sweetness, and then you've got that little bit of a spiciness from that myrrh. Performance on my skin for this one is maybe 4 hours. Again, it could be very different on you. I definitely don't want to discourage anyone from trying these fragrances, so that's why I recommend that you get this discovery set and try them for yourself. It's definitely worth it, because I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised with how nice these fragrances smell. Has a great sillage. You are going to pick up on that myrrh. It's got a unique scent to it. It's a little bit spicy. So all around a really nice fragrance. You can wear these, like I said, year round. They're really nice. All right. Then we've got Magnificently Dubai. And the quote for this one is, "From sunrise to sunset, bathed in adventure." And this fragrance reminds me a little tiny bit of Shanghai Oud by Swiss Arabian. Just a little bit, maybe a very distant cousin, but it kind of has a little bit of that vibe in there. It has that saffron, nutmeg, and leather. You will pick up on that leather, so if you enjoy a fragrance with leather, this is great. It's more like a suede, a soft kind of leather. And then the saffron in here is really nice, and I like how it smells in this particular fragrance. And then you've got that nutmeg that gives it a little bit of some spiciness to it and just a little bit of oomph. So I really like this fragrance a lot. The longevity on this one is about 6 hours on my skin, which is really nice, and a great sillage. Just an all-around really nice fragrance. Leaves a trail, so when you're walking by someone, they will definitely be turning their head to find out where this amazing fragrance is coming from. So very nice job. All right, next is Fashionably London. The quote for this is, "Its soulful heartbeat always plays its own song." Now this to me resembles Club de Nuit Intense by Armaf. So it does smell a lot like that. I'm sure it is not intentional. It just by accident kind of leans towards that fragrance. And the notes in this one are bergamot, rose, and musk. So you will get a little bit of that bergamot. You've got some creaminess, that musk, and then you have that rose. Now, some people don't like rose, but I will say in this fragrance, it's very translucent, almost powdery, if that makes sense. So it's not really bold rose note. It's done extremely well. The longevity on this one is about 4 to 6 hours, and then the sillage is beautiful. It has a little bit of that rose trail in there, so you will get that floral note in there, but you're also getting this beautiful bergamot and musk. So a really nice fragrance that has some creaminess to it. I like this one a lot. All right, next we have Gracefully Madrid. And the quote for this one is, "Believe it's possible because it is." Now the notes are orange, geranium, and musk. You're really gonna get the orange in here. It's lightly sweet. It's got a little bit of like a powderiness to it, probably from that geranium. And then you've got some musk all around. Super nice fragrance. I like this one a lot. The longevity on this one probably is about 4 hours. So not super long lasting, but it's got some staying power. Most of these fragrances would last a longer time on the clothes for sure, I have no doubt. And then the sillage is really nice. You are gonna get this light orange with this light floral mixed in there with a little bit of creaminess. So I like this one, it's really nice. Next is Elegantly Tokyo. And the quote for this one is a celebration of destiny. This reminds me a little bit of a fragrance I reviewed not too long ago called Linderoth and Morgan, Aurora per Charles Wong. They have similar scent profiles, very nice fragrance. However, the Linderoth and Morgan has that creamy tofu note and this one does not. The notes in this one are lily, Arabian jasmine, and akigala wood, which is an oud. So it smells really, really nice. If you like oud, this is a great fragrance to check out. It's not a really bold in your face kind of oud. It's a little more mellow. And for those of you that are not big oud fans, this is definitely something that you could tolerate. It's a beautiful fragrance, leaves behind a very nice trail. As far as the performance on this one, it's about 4 hours on my skin, which is not bad. And again, they're so affordable, you can respray these, but I really do like the way that this smells. I think you guys honestly will be pleasantly surprised with all of these fragrances. I really do think they did a nice job. The next one we have is Creatively Shanghai, and the quote for this one is past, present, future in one breath. And this is another great fragrance. It's got some mandarin in the opening. The mandarin is slightly sweet. There's not much tartness in this, or it's not overly citrus, I should say. There's also some cardamom. Again, this is a very prominent note in this fragrance, and there's also a bit of cedar, which definitely shines through in this fragrance. I love the cedar note in here. I think it really adds to this fragrance. As far as the longevity, this one on my skin is about 2 to 4 hours. Not super long lasting. I guess if I moisturized a little bit more, it probably would last about 4 hours. So not bad. The sillage is beautiful. The cedar in here, I think, really does it for this fragrance. You really pick up on that, and I love that. And there's also a little bit of sweetness in here, but all around super nice fragrance. And then lastly, I have Boldly Soul, and the quote for this one is discovering its unique beauty. And this one is a lot softer. You're gonna get the hints of violet. Now, I'm not a huge fan of the violet flower. I don't really like it in my fragrances. If it's hidden well or mixed really well with other notes and it's not as prominent, I can tolerate it. I know that's weird. That's just one of the notes I'm not a huge fan of, but I don't mind it in this fragrance because the other notes are a little bit stronger, which kind of outshine the violet. So that's fine with me. And those other notes are mimosa as well as musk. And so it's got a little bit of creaminess. That musk gives it a little bit of that creaminess. And then that mimosa is definitely kind of sparkling, makes this a little brighter. It's also, like I said, a little bit on the softer side. It's not one of those super outspoken type of fragrances that, you know, will enter a room before you do. It's soft-spoken. The longevity on this one, I wish it was a little bit better. It's about 2 hours, maybe a little bit longer depending. Sillage is really nice. People will have to be a little closer to you, I think, though, to really pick up on this fragrance because I would say it's a lot shyer than the other ones, if that makes sense. Now, having gone through all of these fragrances from this collection, I want to talk about the paper strips. In the beginning, I told you I let them sit there and marinate for over 48 hours, and then I was going to share with you the ones that really stood out. And they literally smell like I just put the perfume on the paper strips, and there's 3 of them that are very strong, very bold, fragrances that I think are fantastic. And the first one is Energetically New York, which is the one that I said smells a lot like Santal 33. Magnificently Dubai, which is probably the sweetest fragrance from the whole collection. Really like that one. It really stands out. And then the third one that was really bold was Fashionably London, which reminds me a lot of Club de Nuit Intense by Armoff. So those three really stand out after 48 hours. And then the ones that were moderate, which they weren't quite as bold, but they were still very detectable. Those were Gracefully Madrid, Elegantly Tokyo, and Creatively Shanghai. So those were the ones that were moderate. Now the ones that were really shy, I could still smell them, but I could tell that these probably are the ones that are going to be closer to the skin, were Stunningly Venice and Boldly Seoul, the last one I spoke about. So those are a little bit more shy. They're not quite as outspoken as the other fragrances, but all around these 8 fragrances from Vibrant Cities collection are really nice. Definitely check them out. Now, if I had to choose one fragrance to buy a full bottle of, and I mean the 75 ml, because I always say go bigger, you get better value when you buy a bigger bottle. So I would buy the 75 ml bottle of Magnificently Dubai. And the reason I like this one the most is because of the sweetness in here, but it's not a sweetness that would cause a headache or be cloying. It's done very, very well. And then it has those leather notes in there that is kind of like that soft leather, like suede, that I just think are outstanding. I think this fragrance is beautiful. I have it on right now. And as I was talking to you guys, I can get wafts of it. I just love it. I think it's great. So that is the one I would pick from this collection. I'm curious, do any of you guys have any of these fragrances from the Vibrant Cities line? I would love to know. Comment that down below. Let me know what you think of those fragrances. Or have I piqued your interest, and which one of the fragrances that I talked about today is one that you probably could see yourself buying? I'd love to know. I read my comments. I try to get back to everybody. So I certainly appreciate you taking time out of your day to watch my video. Enjoy the rest of your day and stay beautiful inside and out.